What's up guys, Chigs there from Chigs Tech Reviews. So today I'm out and about with the brand new AKASO Brave 6 Plus. So this is AKASO's brand new action camera. It's capable of shooting 4K at 30 frames per second, which is what we're doing right now.
It's a native 4K action camera which can shoot up to 4K 30 with EIS and 20 megapixel photos. Now the action camera also features a responsive IPS touchscreen, hands-free voice control, 8x digital zoom, adjustable viewing angles, built-in Wi-Fi with smartphone app control, supports external USB Type-C microphones, and the action camera comes jam-packed with lots of accessories to keep you busy, which include a waterproof case, two 1350 mAh batteries, dual battery charger, and lots more.
Beautiful day today. Let's flip the camera around and you can see for yourself how beautiful the day is. 4K 30. It's perfect conditions for an action camera test. Any excuse to get out in this type of weather is a good excuse, and look at how smooth that 4K 30 looks. I think AKASO have nailed the 4K 30 frames per second part of things, but I think what they need to concentrate on is the microphones. So I'm really hoping that the microphone sounds great on this action camera. So we will find out a bit later.
So now I've switched to 2.7K at 30 frames per second. Video quality still looks pretty good with super smooth image stabilization, and it does seem like we have image stabilization available in all resolutions, but we will certainly find out what works well and what doesn't. So now I have switched down to 1440p at 60 frames per second. That's a resolution of 1920 by 1440, and I think most of us can see the difference straight away. I'm noticing less color accuracy and lack of detail. Don't get me wrong, the video still looks good. You still have smooth image stabilization, but of course if we compare it to the 4K image, the difference in the color is quite substantial. Now I did find a resolution which did not support any image stabilization, so we are talking about 1080p at 90 frames per second. Now video quality and color and detail looks pretty decent at this resolution, but lack of image stabilization is very apparent, and you can see that shake. So yeah, really missing the image stabilization in this mode. So I have now dropped down to 1080p at 60 frames per second, and I believe we have a similar result as 1440p, so less color and detail. Image stabilization is however nice and smooth. And I think it's a good idea to compare the resolutions, so let's bring in 1440p versus 1080p first of all and see how they compare. And now 1080p 60 versus 4K 30 frames per second. Now obviously the higher resolution is going to look better, there's no doubt about that one, but my point is to show you the actual differences between them in real time, especially the difference in the color representation for each resolution. And so far I have to say I'm really liking how 4K and 2.7K produce the best looking video along with the most realistic looking colors. And I guess the lower resolutions of 1080p and 1440p would come in handy when you want to shoot some video which is not too important, you just need some basic video footage, and it's good to know that those lower resolutions will still give you clear video quality with smooth image stabilization. Now if you're wondering about slow motion, here is a 1440p at 60 frames per second slow-mo sample. So as you can see, fairly decent slow-mo capture. However, the slowest motion available is not as slow as I would have liked it to be. So next up we are looking at 20 megapixel photos, and I managed to easily produce great looking photos with very minimal effort. Simply point and shoot. There is no trickery to it at all. Now the camera takes great looking shots every single time. You have sharp looking photos with realistic color, great dynamic range. It takes photos pretty well in nearly all situations. However, as with all action cameras, including the most expensive GoPros, they are not designed for nighttime or low light usage. So if you were to take photos or videos in low light, you would end up with grain and noise. So out and about daytime shots, near perfect shots every single time. So we've got voice control active, and there are two commands that you can use. For photos, you're going to say Akaso, take photo. And if you want to shoot video, you need to say Akaso, video start. Now the overall performance of the AKASO Brave 6 Plus reminds me a lot of the Akaso V50X. So I guess I have no choice but to do a very quick head-to-head video comparison to see how they both fare. So this is a very quick video comparison between the AKASO V50X and the AKASO Brave 6 Plus. So we're doing a quick audio test and it's windy. It's very windy right now, so expect. But this should give us a good idea of what the audio sounds like on both cameras. Now Akaso are quite secretive about the image sensor and chipset. There is no info online at all. But after using so many different action cameras, I'm willing to take a wild guess that the AKASO Brave 6 Plus has exactly the same image sensor and chipset as the AKASO V50X. Now most of the time we are achieving very similar results for both photos and videos. But in some videos you've got a slightly better contrast in the AKASO V50X. So there you have it guys, that was the AKASO Brave 6 Plus. So this camera produces great quality 4K video at 30 frames per second. Video is bright and clear with crispy details, similar results to their previous model, the AKASO V50X. In fact, even the audio performed more or less the same as the V50X. So the audio quality is not the best. It's usable, but it's as good as a mono microphone can get. But the option to connect a Type-C microphone is there, although I did not have one to hand, so I could not test this feature out. Other than that, this is a great all-round budget action camera, and for the price you are also getting plenty of accessories included, which certainly adds to the value factor. Now on my top action camera chart of 2020, the AKASO action cams have been my personal favorite budget action cameras due to the amazing 4K video quality that they produce. And the new Brave 6 Plus does not disappoint either, and is certainly worth that selling price. Now I hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions, feel free to fire them at me in the comments below, and I will try my best to answer them as quick as I can. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.